The Hanging Gardens of Babylon have been one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world indexed via way of means of Hellenic culture. They have been defined as a super feat of engineering with an ascending collection of tid gardens containing an extensive sort of bushes, shrubs, and vines, equivalent to a massive inexperienced mountain built of dust bricks. It changed into stated to were constructed withinside the historical town of Babylon, close to present-day Hilla, Babil province, in Iraq. The Hanging Gardens call is derived from the Greek phrase kremastos, which has a broader which means than the contemporary day English phrase hanging and refers to bushes being planted on a raised shape inclusive of a terrace. According to at least one legend, the Hanging Gardens have been constructed along a ground palace referred to as the marvel of mankind, via way of means of the Neo-Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar II, who dominated among 605 and 562 BC. For his Median spouse Queen Amitis, due to the fact she overlooked the inexperienced hills and valleys of her homeland. This changed into attested to via way of means of the Babylonian priest Berzus, writing in approximately 290 BC, an outline that changed into later quoted via way of means of Josephus. The production of the Hanging Gardens has additionally been attributed to the mythical Queen Semiramis, who supposedly dominated Babylon withinside the 9th century BC, and that they were known as the Hanging Gardens of Semiramis as an opportunity call. The Hanging Gardens are the most effective one of the 7 wonders for which the place has now no longer been definitively established. There aren't any extant Babylonian texts that point out the gardens, and no definitive archaeological proof has been discovered in Babylon. 3 theories were counseled to account for this. Firstly, that they have been in basic terms mythical, and the descriptions discovered in historical Greek and Roman writings, which include the ones of Strabo, Diodorus Siculus and Quintus Curtius Rufus, represented a romantic best of and Jack Lawn. Secondly, that they existed in Babylon, however have been absolutely destroyed someday across the 1st century AD, and thirdly, that the legend refers to a well-documented lawn that the Assyrian king Sennacherib, 704681 BC, constructed in his capital town of Nineveh at the river Tigris, close to the contemporary day town of Mosul. Descriptions in classical literature. Berzus defined the reign of Nebuchadnezzar II and is the most effective supply to credit score that king with the development of the Hanging Gardens. In this palace he erected very excessive walls, supported by means of stone pillars, and by means of planting what became known as a pensile paradise, and replenishing it with all forms of trees, he rendered the possibility an actual resemblance of a mountainous country. This he did to gratify his queen, due to the fact she had been introduced up in media, and became keen on a mountainous situation. Hanging Gardens of Semiramis, by means of H. Waldeck Diodorus Siculus, energetic c. 6030 BC, appears to have consulted the 4th century BC texts of each Cleotarchus, a historian of Alexander the Great, and Ctesias of Cnidus. Diodorus ascribes the development to a Syrian king. He states that the lawn became withinside the form of a square, with every facet about 4 plethra long. The lawn became tid, with the uppermost gallery being 50 cubits excessive. The walls, 22 feet thick, have been made from brick. The bases of the tid sections have been sufficiently deep to offer root increase for the biggest trees, and the gardens have been irrigated from the close by Euphrates. Quintus Curtius Rufus probable drew at the equal rear sets as Diodorus. He states that the gardens have been placed on pinnacle of a citadel, which became 20 stadia in circumference. He attributes the constructing of the gardens to a Syrian king, once more for the cause that his queen overlooked her homeland. The account of Strabo, c. 64 BC 21 AD, probable primarily based totally his description at the misplaced account of one Sicritus from the 4th century BC. He states that the gardens have been watered with the aid of an Archimedes screw main to the gardens from the Euphrates River. The ultimate of the classical rear sets, notion to be impartial of the others, is a handbook. to the 7 wonders of the world by means of Philo of Byzantium, writing with inside the 4th to 5th century AD, now no longer to be pressured with Philo of Byzantium, who lived ca. 280 BC ca. 220 BC. The approach of elevating water by means of screw suits that defined by means of Strabo. Philo praises the engineering and ingenuity of constructing full-size regions of deep soil, which had a terrific mass, to this point above the herbal grade of the encircling land, in addition to the irrigation techniques,